So a focused person is someone who does just one thing, and I've done one thing all along. My late father was a career banker. That's all he did, it's all he knew. Yeah. A portfolio person, which is what life is becoming now, is having someone do more than one thing. You have two or three or four things like myself that make you, and these things don't clash, they build on each other. They're like a puzzle that fit perfectly. And so when I got this realization, I was very happy because I have always struggled with just being one thing. I mean, why am I not allowed to have a passion for nature photography and conservation and use it for conservation and tourism? At the same time, have an interest in public service, for example, or doing board work. I mean, what's wrong with that? Maybe it's a failure on the part of our education system. This is just my view, by the way, guys. I could be wrong. But that song, so many vijana muongeze bidii. You go to school, you do there, then you become a lawyer or something. And then when you look at our friends from the West, someone by the time they're dying has had 6 fulfilling careers. So I was drawn to that kind of life because I didn't feel I can only do one thing. So when I discovered that, I quickly grabbed it, that there was an option to be more than one thing and be okay with it. Yeah. So that's what I would define as a portfolio person. So that's who I am. I love coaching, helping people find and live meaningful lives, which I do quite a bit of now. I love doing sitting on boards of some organizations that align with my values and even looking to expand that space. I love nature photography, which was a childhood passion that I came back to in 2019 and elevated it and using it for a cause, which is conservation of photography. And I love storytelling. I have a blog that I write, I've done some articles, and because speaking is my gift. So why can't all those things coexist and be children of one happy family and then build on each other and just have this colorful life? So that's a path I chose for myself, and I hope that someone can find meaning in that even in our time today. Thanks, Jim.
What are some of the early experiences that shaped the man you became? What are these things that molded your outlook of life? Yeah, you mentioned you liked nature photography then. So imagine maybe a lot of National Geographic growing up or something of the sort.
Not really, because when I was growing up, we didn't have DSTV to have National Geographic. But I think my earliest memories of just what impacted me, I've been in business all my life, really. And I think that has been a heavy influence from my parents who, despite being employed, had some side hustles. I remember we grew up on a farm and would plant our produce, cabbages and onions and carrots. And my mom, she used to work at the Kenya breweries then. And she would go with all our produce and sell to her fellow ladies in the office. And she would actually bring us the money. And we were free to spend it as we want. And so I think that I wasn't doing it to make money. I mean, because my parents were taking care of me and my siblings. But it was, when I think about it now, it helped me interact with enterprise, with the money and how to make it and use it. And so that moved on into university, into high school, and even primary school, and then later on even into campus. And then even after leaving university, I saw myself again in business. So I think that could probably be one heavy influence from my upbringing that led to me just being in business all along. I don't think it's a decision I made. I just found myself in it. I got a job after university at a bank, a Barclays bank then, but it didn't last long because I realized I was like a fish out of water. So I would say influence from my folks, I think in the trajectory I took in terms of occupation. Yeah. Yeah. So growing up, I just loved photography. I remember my mom buying me a camera when I was a small boy. So that time we had those films that you rewind and go and process in a dark room. Subsequent generations probably can't relate to that because now we have digital. Then I even got a camera, later on a better one. I think when I started running one of my businesses in my 20s, took some photos. I was running an events business, and that's where you and I met, Jim. So I would take photos of those setups, the tents and the deco and everything. Then you'd have a physical album. So that when you're pitching for work, you can show a client an album or the work that you've done. Then the huge disruption came of digital, and we were forced to now do I with that manual way of printing images. In fact, I still have that camera. I keep on saying one day I'll sell it on eBay for a lot of money. So 2019, I was like, okay, maybe this thing is tagging on me again. I want to do it, but I want to do it well. So I looked for a photography school in town and went and sat in class for a few months to learn proper photography. Yeah. Then I had some little money, so bought a digital camera and some lenses, and then got some further classes, online lessons, how you just get this, subscribe or buy some lessons or some photography classes, and you just learn a bit more. Then just got into it, and that's when soon after COVID came. So actually going to this photo was taken during COVID. This is where I used to run to escape cabin fever, and just again loved being out there. For me, it was also therapy. I mean, just because going through COVID alone was hard for mankind, and also I was going through my own, dealing with my own personal transitions. So being out there was really ilikuwa kama dawa, yeah. So I just really fell in love with photography, but specifically nature photography and animals, yeah. So did that. Since then, I've done a few trips, migration at the Mara, Savo, one or two other places, and then thought, okay, now I'm good. Maybe I should try and advertise some of these photos and sell them. So during COVID, I actually sold a number of images to people. They go print on covers. I just have a bias for canvas printing because I find images printed on covers looking really, really nice. And so since then, I've been doing it. I haven't done it as much over the last 6 months, 6 or so months, but it's something I really want to continue doing. So I do it, and when this image was recognized in this competition I entered, that was named after the past president of Tanzania, Benjamin Mkapa. He was quite an avid conservationist. So they had this global competition called Benjamin Mkapa Wildlife Photography Contest. Yeah. So they had, I mean, more than 10,000 images, and then they only chose 70. And this was one of them. And there was a gallery at the National Museum here for like 3 months of huge printed images of the 70. Then I think it went to, is it South Africa, Tanzania also, I think China, and then I think in the US. So that was it was quite a point of pride that you can take a photo and it's recognized at a global level. So I'm glad that I went to just refine, maybe not even to refine, to learn from scratch how to compose a good image, what goes into it, how to use the equipment you have. So work in progress. And I hope it can just go how it goes. Yeah. At times in life, just starts that thing you're doing. You don't have to connect, or rather, actually, it's impossible to connect the dots forwards. They always connect backwards. So we'll see where this thing goes. The desire is still to use this skill for a cause, namely tourism or conservation. Yeah.
Yeah, and as you're talking, just remember that you mentioned earlier, play for yourself first. I want to imagine that's what you're doing initially, just playing for yourself, escaping cabin fever and taking photos, and eventually here we are.
Yeah, that's true. And then actually, this even entered in this competition because again, I joined a group, a WhatsApp group I was put for photography. Again, when you start something, find the people who do it and then learn from them. So one guy randomly in 2021 put a post, hey, for those of you who love wildlife photography, go to National Museum. There's this Kappa competition, and they've put their images there. So I actually went with my son. And then he saw this image and he said, but Dad, you have a photo like this that we once took with you at Mara or something like that. And I'm like, do you think we should enter for next year? And he said yes. So it's funny how inspiration comes from the most unlikely of places. So my boy said, no, you put your photo. I mean, if this guy can win, whoever this is, because you don't know who the photographer was, then try and put yours. And sure enough, 2022, we did it. And here we are. Yeah. So it's just play your flute, but also again, play it with your tribe. So he was my tribe in this case.
Yeah, and some reverse mentorship right there.
There you go.